we go. All right. Woo. There's Rodney Hurd. Oh my God.
Frederick, what's going on, buddy?
Wow. How you doing, partner?
Good.
See
How's
you,
the golf
man.
game?
Oh, you know what? It's not bad. It's not bad. I know Brent likes to talk about his golf game, but I beat him last week, so that's all I'm saying.
You didn't mention that.
Did he mention that I beat him? I can't believe it.
He did not
usually
mention
says
that.
No, of course not. There's Sandy, there's Dylan, Eric. How are you, man? Good to see you guys.
Gino,
Looking
look at
good.
that bright shirt of yours, man.
What? Hey, we are in Puerto Rico. This is Puerto Rican, baby.
Looking
right
good,
here.
baby. Thank you for that
Now,
information earlier, by the way. That was great.
You bet, Don. No problem. Anytime, my friend. Anytime.
I did
That's
check
a good
with Rob.
Good. That's a good thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Because
kind of blew my mind that you said 84% of your revenue share comes from levels 6 and 7. That's crazy.
Well, and you know what's funny is, and of course, Brent and I kind of compare our numbers, as you guys know, I'm sure, but when we get up, and Rob and I did too, but bottom line is 6 and 7 is so big for me, right? I only have 100 on my first level.
Yeah.
Right. I only have 100 on my first level, and I have over 6,100 on my 7th.
Yeah.
Now let that think in.
Only 100, only
100 on my first.
Only
right?
100.
Right.
Only 100.
So let that sink into you guys that, it really does grow like a Christmas tree. And when it happens to you like that, and it's happened to me, and I'm mature, 7.5 years now with the company, same's happened to Rob Flick, Elizabeth Riley, Brent, and we look at it, most of your money will come from 6 and 7.
Yeah. By the way, I updated the math today. You're 16,575, and I did the little doubling every level. So you have 100, and then your second level should have 200, and then 400, 800, 16, 32. If you do the doubling on 100, it comes out to 12,700. So you're doing even better than that.
Well, of course I
But I just think that's kind of amazing to tell.
Can you
somebody.
explain that again, Dawn? I'm not sure what you meant when you said doubling it. Sorry.
Yeah,
Go
so
ahead.
what you do is you take, well, how many people do you have on your front line, Marguerite?
21. Well, FLQAs or FLAs?
FLA.
Do FLAs.
FLAs 31.
30. Okay, so I'm going to say 30 because I'm not smart enough to do that math that quick, okay?
Thank you.
So if you take 30, then your level 2 should have at least 60. Level 3 will be 120. Level 4 will be 240. Level 5 will be 480. Level 6 will be 960. And level 7 will be 1920.
So if that's not the case, does that mean you're not doing duplication? Because I have a total of 500. What am I doing?
Well, there's a couple things. One is that you haven't been in 7.5 years like Gene.
I've been 6, but still.
Okay. Well, then you've been trying to build it. You've been doing too much of the work yourself, and Gene has been succeeding through other leaders.
Got it. Okay, that helps a lot. Thank you.
Which is the only way to go in life. That is the only way to go in life. I think I'm ready to start. Are you guys ready? What time is it? I'm subbing for Brent. You have got me. Brent's on an airplane. Brent's on an airplane.
We're ready.
Let me see.
Yeah,
who's,
we're ready, Gino.
Okay, you run the back end. Cut off. You guys ready?
Let's
I've got
go.
some good stuff. Hey, Pablo, how are you, my friend?
What's up, Gene?
It's great. Hey, it's great to hear all you guys. I got some good stuff to go over with you today. I know this is the 1% Club, and you guys are all here, and you're all fired up. And I've been with you guys one other time in Paris, if you guys remember, with the Eiffel Tower in the background. And Brent got me to be on the 1% Club. So I want to give you some things to do Just a second, hold on. Oh, I'm lit up now. Woohoo! Oh, look at that beautiful face. Okay, there's my lights. Okay, here's what I want you guys to think of. Successful attractors are going to do the following things in the next 6 months to a year. If you guys don't know, I've been here since 2015, and I've been waiting for the shift. It's supposed to happen in 17, supposed to happen in 18, 19. Really was supposed to happen in 20. I blew that one when COVID happened. Thought for sure there'd be a shift. Oh my gosh, no. 20 and 21 were probably the two best real estate markets we've ever been. So now the shift happened in 22. This is the fourth shift I've been through, major, fourth major one, me as a real estate agent. Next year will be my 40th year in real estate. The only reason I bring that perception to you is I was excited about a shift, because here's the number one reason. People now, their gate is open. You've heard me talk about the gate being open, because once their gate's open, they'll listen to you. If their gates are shut, no amount of persuasion or Don Yoakum scripts, all the good stuff from Rodney, nothing works when the gate's shut. But when the market shifts a little bit, 10, 20, 30%, guess who the agents blame? They don't blame themselves. They always blame the company they're with, and they're looking for options. So right now, I am super, super pumped. I've probably been working harder the last 2 or 3 months. I'm going to give you the attributes I want you guys to do in the next, start right away, okay? Number one, I want you to call or text all the past agents you've ever talked to. Whoever has the biggest list wins the game. That's the way this thing works. Don't assume just because you talked to them 6 months ago and they blew you off that their gate is not open. Their gate will be open. Number two, it's time to get belly to belly. Write it down. It's time to get belly to belly. Just so you know, COVID has kind of set us back. I know I'm on Zoom today, but I got news for you. If they saw, Dylan in person, Dylan can sell them in person. There's nothing better than being belly to belly. Let me tell you a story. Phil Hahn. Have you guys heard the Phil Hahn story yet? I don't know. You guys all know Phil. Phil might even be on this call, but Phil was he was trying to recruit an agent, and believe it or not, I know this won't happen to you guys, right? There might have been a couple EXP agents trying to recruit the same agent. That might happen to you guys, right? It's happened to me. And the agent said, well, can you come see me in? It's about an hour and a half flight over the Rocky Mountains. And guess what happened in Vancouver? Flights were canceled. Storm. So what did Phil do? He went to the local airline and found a pilot who would fly a little tiny plane. And he sent me pictures over the Rocky Mountains to meet with these people. And he said about halfway through the plane flight, the pilot goes, get ready, it's going to get a little rocky. He's going, oh my God, what did I do? They flew an hour and a half. They met with the people. The people could not believe they flew through that storm. Guess who they named as their sponsor? Phil Hahn. Guys, you got to take the effort to go meet with people. Drive that 2 hours, drive that hour, right? Make the effort to go meet with them in person. There's nothing better in life. The other thing, get your list together and forecast when they're going to come. Let me tell you about this. When I first met Brent, he and I worked so much the same, I couldn't believe it. I've always worked with notebooks. Been working with notebooks for 25 years, just 25 years. And I would write down the agents I'm going to recruit. Don Yoakum, he's not coming, called that sucker. Tom Davies, called him, he's not coming. You were on my list, Don, forever. Tom, you were on my list forever. But I would literally write your names down, and then I'd go, this is when they're coming. It's time. Been calling them, text them, and I would literally forecast when I could recruit agents. Everybody goes, you can't do that. I go, that's what I did. I've been doing it for years. When I first went out to see Brent and James in Sacramento to help them recruit, guess what Brent said? Hey, Gene, here's my notebook. Let me show you all the people I'm calling. Look at the names I'm calling. You know, they're coming. That dude is coming. I've called him 4 times. I guarantee he's coming next month. I said, forecasting when you're going to recruit agents works. Just do it, guys. Just do it. Number 4, I want you to call all the top agents first. Call them all first. Start at the top in your market. Call every single one of them. I got a message from Elizabeth Riley. She did a post last week. I don't know if Elizabeth's on this call, but she got a gentleman 2 weeks ago, right before Thanksgiving. His name is Brian Copeland. And Brian, she said, I'm announcing Brian's coming. He's been in the business 22 years, 10 years at Remax, 12 years at Realty Austin, #1 in the market in Austin, Texas for his company, 280 homes a year, blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? I called Brian right away. By the way, this is another thing. If somebody asks you to call somebody and welcome them, what should we do on this call? We should call them immediately. Guys, you guys text me and say, Rodney, tomorrow you text me and say, hey, welcome so-and-so. I'm going to welcome them. I'm going to call them. I'm going to text them. Well, this gentleman called me right back. Brian Copeland's his name. He goes, gee, man, I'm fired up. He says, let me tell you something. I've been in the business 22 years and nobody has told me about EXP. Elizabeth and I started this doggone thing in Austin, Texas, 7.5 years ago. He says, no, I've heard about you guys, but nobody's really sat down and explained it to me. Whoa, what? You think all the top agents in your market have really heard it. If they haven't heard it from you, they haven't heard it correctly. Go get belly to belly, show them the model. Take your time with it. Guys, there's so much stuff to go over. The other thing I want to talk to you about is you need some attributes to talk about. These are the things I want you to, this is always, I don't know, success kind of leaves clues, right? Here's something I'm going to tell you that you need to start doing. And I know if you're on this call, you're motivated. If you're on the call and you're taking notes right now, you're my type of people. Number 1, it's time to be disciplined. And what do I mean by disciplined? If you guys could do this for me in the next week, I don't know what you guys do on this call, but if you could do this for me, you could even text it to me. Write down what you do every half an hour. Now, 21 years ago, a gentleman named Mark Willis challenged me. I was a team leader for Keller Williams, stories when they're real, you know, and I was in a team leader boot camp, and a lot of the team leaders go, hey, I get in at 6:30. And I work from 6:30 to 6:30. And I said, and I raised my hand. I said, I work from 9 to 5. And Mark goes, well, you work 9 to 5. You work 6:30 to 6:30. Why don't you guys come back and show me your schedule every half an hour where you work? And that was the first time in my life, I think I really sat down. Now that was 21 years ago. I do it a lot now. And I really schedule my life, because I'd wake up at 6 o'clock. I'd get dressed. I'd go to the gym at 6:30. I'd work out from 6:30 to 8 to 8:30. I'd take a shower. I'd go to the office at 8:30. I met my staff at Starbucks. At 9 o'clock, I'd start my day. Now, I didn't say I didn't do anything before 9 o'clock, right? And then I scheduled, this is the most important part, when I would recruit people. 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock. You guys have heard me say this forever. But when I started EXP 7.5 years ago, guess what I did? The reason I'm successful, 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Elizabeth and I started in May of 2015 in Austin, Texas. Nobody knew what EXP was. And I said, Elizabeth, 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Set up appointments. I will be there. I'll be at that restaurant. I'll show you. I've been there. I'm on that corner and I will interview people. She goes, well, how do you know who's going to show up? I said, I don't know, but that's when I'm going to interview them. I'm not interviewing them at 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Have them come to you. And I'm just telling you it works. So you've got to be more disciplined than you ever have in your life. I want to see your guys' schedule. If you really do that, you'll schedule more appointments. You'll schedule more calls, but you have to have it scheduled. Number 2, what's your elevator speech now? Think about it. What's your elevator speech right now? How do you get people fired up in like 10 seconds? You want me to give you mine? I tell you what, man, I am more excited. You have no idea. This is what I say. When I meet somebody, I said, hey, this is really weird. They go, what? And I said, I know where I am. Do you? And they go, what do you mean? I said, well, how's Coldwell Banker going? They go, well, that's going okay. I said, no. Do you know where you are? They go, what do you mean? I said, no, I know where I am. And they go, what do you mean? I said, I met Jeff Bezos the other day. And they go, you're kidding. I said, no, his name is Glenn Sanford. And I met him 8 years ago. And Glenn Sanford has changed our industry. Let me tell you what he's done. Unbelievable. I said, let me give you an example. And they go, what do you mean? I said, I know where I'm at. I'm at Amazon in the beginning, but I know where I am. Literally in the last 2 years, we will add, and this is what I tell them. I said, in the last 2 years, we will add net 46,000 agents. Write it down. 46,000 agents. And they look at me and they go, what? And I said, it's never been done in the industry. It's never been, we've gone from 41,000 to 87,000 at the end of the year. It is unbelievable. Never been done in the history of real estate. So I know I'm at a special company. That would never happen. I was at KW when it grew, never grew like that. I was at Remax in the 80s when it grew, in the 90s, never grew like that. This is a revolution. And I met Jeff Bezos. By the way, I can hook you up with him. I can set up a meeting so you could meet the Jeff Bezos of our industry. I know where I am. And then they go, well, how's that compare to Compass? I go, I'm so glad you asked that. I said, that's really weird. Isn't Compass like 23, 24, 25,000 agents? They go, yeah. And I said, well, we've added 2 Compasses the last 2 years. I know where I am. We've gone from 41,000 to 87,000 in 2 years. I said, it is unbelievable. And I'll tell you what, man, I'm going to take advantage of being where I am. You guys have got to be more excited now than you ever have. You've got to have better scripts than you ever have. What I mean by scripts, 7.5 years ago, I didn't have the Jeff Bezos story. You know why? I didn't have the results to share it, did I? I just had to create a vision of where I thought we could go. Now I know where we're going. You guys got to project that. Most wealth, and you can tell your people, most wealth is built when we act on opportunities. Do you think there's going to be an opportunity to recruit agents the next 6 months? Are you kidding me? This is when your rev share team will grow. Marguerite, this is when you're going to go 500 to 1,000. This is when it's going to happen. You have not had this opportunity before. I'm just telling you, it's awesome. You got to get fired up and just go, man, you know what? I just hang, and you can ask Brent. I just hang with people that are fired up. I don't know about you, but that's one of the things I've specialized in. Brent even told me one time, this a few years ago, he says, Gene, I was kind of being negative. I don't know if you've ever seen Brent negative. He never is. But I think he was complaining about something at EXP or whatever. We all have, right? And he said, I was complaining to you about something and you just walked away. I said, I did? He goes, yeah, you just walked away. I said, well, it's probably pretty negative. I don't want to be around it. I'm sorry, dude, right? So if you're around agents that are bringing you down, walk away. Walk away and get in this group, the 1% Club. Get with these people all the time. You guys could text me anytime, you know this. Don's had me on calls. Tom's had me on calls. You guys could do a 3-way calls with me anytime. I'll show up. I've never not shown up because I tell you, I will bring it. I will get fired up. The third thing I want you guys to do, and this is probably the most important, I feel blessed and favored by the Lord. I'm sorry, I talk about it more than ever because I don't think this has been me. Get real with your faith. I'm just telling you, it will solve everything else. Get real with your faith. If you guys I don't know what faith you're in, but man, I have gotten real. I know this hasn't been me. I know this is a hand's been put on me to be favored. I know that. And that's probably the most important one of the 3 that you've got. Those are the human abilities that I really want you to project to all your people. I'm just fired up for this year. I'm telling you what, it's really weird. This is the 1% Club. You guys are more fired up than everybody. I don't know why I'm even talking like this, but I can't bang on the table like Brent and go crazy, but I can wear the good shirts. I know that. Why don't you guys ask me? And I know he talked for a long time last week. I really believe the opportunity is now. The opportunity is right now, next 6 months to a year. You're going to add more start at the top. Call those top people first. Call the top people first. We got to talk. Has anybody really showed you the model? Rodney, has anybody really ever showed, really? I mean, have they sat down and explained to you why we've added 47,000 agents in 2 years net? We've added 2 compasses in 2 years.
Hey, Gino, I've got a question.
Yes.
So we know, I think that in this type of market shift, we get a lot of agents leaving the market and we get a lot of new agents that come into the market, right?
Yep.
What's your view on talking to new agents coming into the market and that whole side of things versus experienced agents?
Here's the thing, that talking to new agents is one of the best ways to recruit agents. If they're getting in now in a down market, that's when I got in. If they're getting in a down market, they're serious. They want to change careers, right? You're going to have less agents get their license during this time. But yeah, I'd go after them. You guys know the stat. 70 to 80% of the business 5 years from now at NAR, I kept track of this when I ran my last office, will be done by agents that don't have their license yet. And when I read that stat, I didn't believe it. And then I kept track of it. We've gone in the last 10 years from the average age of realtors being 59, it's now 49.
Wow.
Guys, I know my stats. I'm the only guy that reads the NAR stuff. I'm the only one. Isn't that weird? This is my gig. Real estate is my gig. I'm sorry. I didn't invest in FDX. I don't got any of the other junk. I just know real estate. And so when it's your gig, you know your numbers. Here's the other thing I would do in your market. Know your numbers better than anybody. Be the expert. Send it to the top agents. Here's what's going on in our market. Boom. Here's what's going on in a market, right? Here, come talk to me. I'm the expert. I know the numbers better than anybody. By the way, it's I saw that number too. There's 57% female, 43% male. Still a very much female-dominated business, which has always been. When I first
Isn't
got
the
in,
world?
yes, it is. Yes, it is. It was 90-10 when I got in, if not 95-5 in the 80s. Literally, I had 3 males in my office. I didn't hang out with them anyway. But yeah, go
Can I ask
ahead.
a question, Gino?
You betcha, man. You betcha.
Thanks, brother. It's John G out here in Vegas.
You betcha.
So I don't normally dabble in luxury listings too much. I average about 35 transactions a year, but I have a $1.8 million listing. And I was planning on doing a broker open December 29th. And I was just wondering if maybe you could share some insights, because I'm working with David Golden and we're going to call a bunch of agents and text them. But I want to get those agents over there so that we could use that opportunity to obviously build rapport and just see how their business is going and show them that we're in production and business. Like, what do you think?
Oh, are you kidding? Here's what I would do, and I wrote this down today. Of course, invite. I wrote down 3 words: invite, invite, invite. Hey, if you're doing a big open house, invite. If you're doing a big training, guys, I would train on steroids right now. I would invent a training seminar to go put on to be different in my market. I wouldn't do the normal stuff. I would be the one training in my market on how to adjust to this market. By the way, I have a whole thing on production. I didn't share that with you guys because I know this is an attraction call, but I have a whole thing on production. I've been teaching that a lot right now, what to do in this market on production. But quite honestly, you just got to invite. I know Elizabeth Riley had a good training session in Austin. Everybody just do it locally. Do it locally on steroids. Invite some of the top agents to be on a panel, ask them questions, how they're adjusting to the market. Be the hub. Be the hub of your real estate area. Be the person that does it. By the way, I've been at EXP 7.5 years. I started in April 24th, 2015. Guess how many people from Coldwell Banker have called me to recruit me? How many people from Keller Williams have called me to recruit me? 0. How many people from RE/MAX have called me and said, I'd love to show you the RE/MAX model? 0. Wow. I feel not wanted. I really feel like I'm not worth it. That's what people are feeling if you don't call them. That's what they're feeling. Am I not worth it? Does another company not want to tell me how good their company is and how exciting it is? And they'd love to have me part of their team. That's why you call all the top people first, because nobody's calling them. Nobody's called me. By the way, I was the #1 recruiter at Keller Williams 6 times in 21 years. Nobody called me from another company in 21 years at Keller Williams. Wow. Here's a nugget. Because I had an agent, Marguerite, this is exactly what you need. I had an agent the other day, I think she has about 350, 400. And she goes, I'm just not growing quick enough. I go, find the person to run with. Go find your Gene Frederick, your Brent Gove. Go find the person you want to run with. In fact, why don't you go find the #1 recruiter in your market? And you know what she did? She did it. She did it. 3 weeks later, that person joined. Nobody had ever called him. It's actually a woman. It's always a woman, Marguerite. Don't worry. We know. But you know what I mean. In other words, people go, well, my group's not growing. Well, go find the person that can help you grow it. Period. End of story. Don't do it all yourself.
Hey, Gene, got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Sure.
brother, how you doing? Loving the shirt,
Awesome, man.
Loving the shirt. So I think, and hopefully I'm not the only one that's having this issue. I've got people that I've been talking to for 5 years now, whatever, since I've been here. And I've probably got about 14 people that are in what I call my hot file, and probably about 4 or 5 of those that are right there ready to make the move. But getting them over the fence, that is where I'm having difficulty. Just to be totally honest with you, because literally, if I could bring those people over, I mean, that would be 19 to my front level right there. I mean, I'd be at my 40. I'd be done.
Yeah. So. I think it's a group effort. I think it's, we always talk about it, me and Brent, that it's Team EXP. We will all get on calls for you. What you need to do, I think, is use us. I mean, I say everybody on this call, use us. If you have a RE/MAX agent that, you just, find somebody on this call that's an ex-RE/MAX agent. Say, look, I want you to help me get this person over. Let's do a 3-way call. In fact, they live an hour from you. I'll pick you up and let's go see them one-on-one. I really believe getting somebody over is all relationship based. Guys, I've been working on people. I'm still working on people. I got somebody I've been working on for a year. I just keep inviting them to stuff. They went to Build. They went to EXPCon. I'm inviting them to, and it's really funny. I do what I say I tell you guys to do, and everybody goes, well, why isn't it working? I said, it's going to work eventually. I just keep inviting. And I think the more people they meet, they're going to click with something, and it's good. I can't tell you. I don't know what else to tell you, but just keep it going. Be disciplined. It is hard. By the way, recruiting's a long game. Recruiting's a long game. Don Yoakum turned me down in the beginning. Tom Davies turned me down in the beginning. And I could give you a list of about 30 that first year. I called and no. I don't want to come to a company with 400 agents. I quite honestly didn't blame them, right?
Thank you, Don.
When the timing was right, I called you to figure out the numbers, though, Gino.
I know you did. And a lot of people, other people did. Well, yeah.
Hey, Gene, I got a question for you.
To your point, though, Gino, I was ghosted by KWTL for several months. Tried calling them, wouldn't return my calls. This is after having a really great call with them. Tom Daves yesterday sends me this message, and he's like, hey, Zach is pissed. Something KW did pissed him off. He wants to talk immediately. Can you be with him tomorrow?
There it is. There it is, guys. Thank
Hey,
you.
Gene, I got a question for you. As far
Yes,
as
sir.
building relationships, because I'm new to the industry, I'm just now doing my renewal for my license. So I got maybe 60, 70 transactions under my belt. How do you start building relationships with agents if you're a newer agent?
Here's the thing. I have agents, just so you know, that have never sold anything and have recruited hundreds of people. It's a skill set you'll learn. And so bottom line is, if you're brand new, just get in relationship with as many agents as you can, period. Every transaction, go to open houses, meet new people, become part of a group. Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, Brian Buffini, go to training events outside of our company and meet other agents. And of course, I love that kind of stuff. And the other way I like to recruit more than anything is with mortgage officers and lenders. The lenders, I ask them, who's doing business now? Who's the movers and shakers? Guys, I could get a list. I could go to any of your markets. I could go to Indianapolis tomorrow, and I could get a list of the top 50 people doing business the right way, ethically, fun, and then I'd start calling them. It's that simple. Now, here's the thing. Just because you've only been doing it a short amount of time means nothing. Means nothing. Your excitement, your discipline, your faith are going to drive you. Quite honestly, that's it. Too many people I know, you got to learn how to recruit agents, right? It's a different skill set. It's not like showing property. That's for doggone sure.
Gene, can I jump in for a quick question?
You betcha. I'm here.
You're one of the most amazing presenters that I've ever seen. And I'm doing my first full presentation tomorrow for about 250 agents. And any advice or tips? They know they're coming to CEXP. They've all agreed to show up to CEXP. There's no bait and switch. And basically, we're just going to present the model and then interview a few of the agents, the big teams that have just come over. So any suggestions?
Real simple. Be yourself. Be authentic. Be yourself. Be authentic. I mean, I don't know any other way to do presentations. Other than, Rob Flick does them different than I do. Brent does them different than I do. I'm myself, they're themselves. Elizabeth Riley does them different. The cool thing is we're just ourselves. And be the most positive you possibly could be and the most upbeat. And I really don't think that's it. And I think how you do it, if there's 250 people there, I got news for you. There'll be people fired up, and it's all in the FU, write it down. You know what that means. It's all in the follow-up. Whoever follows up the best wins the game. I've always told people, they go, just so you know, EXP came into Austin. Elizabeth Riley got 20 people in the summer of 2014 to see, and they did a presentation, and Elizabeth goes, I have no idea what they were talking about. Isn't that amazing? So that's when she called me and said, I'm kind of interested, but I have no idea. But now here's the other thing I will tell you. Elizabeth's so sharp, she got 20 agents from all other companies to listen to it. She goes, nobody's called us back. Wow. See, it's all in the follow-up. You can actually do a bad presentation, follow up, and go, did you understand anything? Elizabeth would go, no, I really didn't understand. Well, let me come over and meet with you one-on-one. I'll show it to you again. Right? In other words, the follow-up's the key. Thank heaven it wasn't a great presentation, because Elizabeth called me and said, check it out. That's when I met Glenn. That's when I met Jeff Bezos. God, I love meeting Jeff Bezos in the beginning. God, it's been so much, and we're still in the beginning, right? We're 13 years old. We're 13 years old, and we've set records in 13. We've set records. Wow. Next year will be Keller Williams' 40th year. Next year will be Remax's 50th year. Oh, woo.
Gene,
I'm just fired up,
for
guys.
you.
Yeah.
So you
Go
were
ahead.
saying when you talk to mortgage and title companies and get top producer referrals, since you don't have a relationship with them and you're basically calling them, cold calling, how do you start that conversation?
You would just real simple. You know, it's really funny, David. Everybody I talk to in this town says, I got to talk to you. It's unbelievable. You know, I called a couple of mortgage companies. They said, you are just killing it. Can I have 5 minutes? Can I have 10 minutes with you tomorrow at 10 o'clock at Starbucks? I want to buy you coffee and show you a brand new model I'm bringing to Salt Lake City. I want you to critique it for me. That's how I started offices for Keller Williams all over the world. I didn't know anybody. I started my first office in Roseville, California. You guys kind of know that. Brent's there. I didn't know anybody. I went to open houses. I actually went into a title company and said, who should I start a company with? If you were going to bring a new model, who would it be? The title person goes, here's all the people. I said, could you mark them A, B's, and C's? And they go, sure. I said, A's, awesome. Great integrity. B, you kind of know them. C, stay away, Gene. Guess what? I'd go to 3 title companies. I'd have my list. I have all the A's, all the B's, all the C's. I actually knew the people to stay away from, and then I just call them. By the way, I know texting is big now. I know I did this thing 15, 20 years ago by calling people. I still call, just so you know, because I think a voice is something special. I really do think a voice is something special. Leave a message, then text them. Leave a message, then text them, because your voice means something in life. Your inflection is everything.
I have a version of that sounds an awful lot like yours. Could I share that?
You guys can share everything, baby. That's why we're on here. You bet.
So one thing about talking with affiliates, like Gene said, that's a fantastic way to go. My encouragement to you is do not ever ask an affiliate for a referral. What you do is you have them identify a profile. Like Gene is saying, hey, if I were to be opening up a real estate brokerage, who would be a great person to be in business with? The more you can get them to activate their reticular activator, the better. Like, for example, when I was running that Roseville office that Gene's talking about, I asked one of the affiliates with First American Title, I said, hey, in that Century 21 office, who would you say is the most learning-based agent there? Like he's always talking about the last book he read or seminar he attended or something like that. And right away, he gives me this young guy's name who happened to be the top producer of that Century 21 office, right? And so I call up and say, hey, John, this is Don Yoakum. We have a mutual acquaintance in Scott Stahovich at First American. I was asking him who the most learning-based agent was in your office, and he said you, and he's flattered, of course. And I says, well, hey, man, how'd you get that reputation? What are you doing over there? What are you reading? What's the last book you read? And so, of course, you're in. But my point in that, though, is ask for a very specific thing that you're looking for. Like, let's say you want to break into Salt Lake, like Gene was saying, call a lender, call a title person and say, hey, in the last 10 years, who would you say has been the best business builder in Salt Lake City of a real estate brokerage, any company? Like not only is it big, but they've attracted quality people. They've got an excellent reputation, great energy. People want to work there. They rarely leave. If there was one person, who would that be? And you know what? They give you a name, right? And then when you call, you say, hey, Margarita, I was talking to Gene. I was asking him who the number one person in your market has been in the last 10 years. He said, you. What are you doing over there in Roseville?
Well, here's the thing, Don. That's a great thing. Wouldn't it be neat if everybody on this call did that in their market? If you just called and got that person who's actually grown, isn't it weird? Don't you think it's weird that nobody's called me from another company? Do they not know how EXP is growing? Seriously, you guys know who I am. Do you think you might have said something to other people at other companies? Hey, this guy knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? In other words, if we all found that person that could change your world, would you call them today? Okay. There you go. There's your answer. There's your answer if your team is stagnant. There's your answer. And then you go, well, I'm not sure if I have the gumption to call him. Get Don on the call with you. He'll help you. I'll help you. You know, in other words, come on. Tahoe Tony will help you. Everybody will help you. The problem is we think we have to do it ourselves. It's not like selling homes. Recruiting agents is not like selling homes. I quit talking about that. You guys are great salespeople, but you got to learn different skills. The other thing I would tell you, don't ask the affiliates for the people that are unhappy. Oh, it's a bad lead in. I really don't want the people that are unhappy. I want the people that are happiest. Because when people say, oh, I'm happy where I'm at, I said, good, now we can talk. Exactly what I said. I said, I'm looking for happy people. My gosh, if you were a grouchy old person, I would not want to talk to you. There you go. What else do you got? How much time have we gone today? I feel energy on the Zoom. I don't know why. I feel energy on the Zoom. I know a lot of people haven't talked. I think it's the shirt. I do think it's the shirt. But there is energy in the room. You guys are fired up. I don't want to take a lot of your time. I know Brent got me on this, but get me on 3 ways. Guys, I'm a good closer. I really am. I'm really good with, oh, by the way, side note, call those brokers. Call those brokers. Call those brokers. Guys, this is the time. Their production's down 30%. Guys with 20 agents, 50 agents, 10 agents. Call the brokers. They will talk to you. Gates open now. Gates open. I've never seen a gate. Guys, when the market goes down by 30%, they're all going, whoo, oh my gosh. So forgot to mention that, but yeah.
So what is the best number if we want to do a 3-way conference call with you?
And let me give you my cell. I'm a texter. Do not email me. Do not Facebook me. Do not Twitter or TikTok me. Don't do any of that junk. 703-338-1515. And I'm a texter. And a lot of you on this call have used me. Just text me and say, Gene, I got something for you next Tuesday, 8:30 Pacific time. How's that work? Set it up. Send me an invite. I will be there. Because, guys, I'm not being used enough.
I know, Gene, when you talk to a broker, what's the best way to kind of introduce EXP to a broker model, to a broker that's already has a team and that's growing his team locally?
I can tell you right now, the brokers that actually own a company, I'm sure that's what you're talking about. The number one thing that's going to affect them this year, number one, they're going to get tired of agents saying they're not selling homes. Because if it goes down by 30%, they've got to get more into and in fact, most of the small brokers, just so you know, the only reason they make money is because they sell also. Just so you know. So when their production goes down, so they're tired of playing broker. I always tell them, I want to take the anvil off your shoulder. I had one the other day. The guy goes, do I still have to answer broker questions? I go, no. We take the anvil off your shoulder. We take that away from you and we do all that. He goes, really? Really? So that's where most brokers get tired. They're going to get tired of talking to agents that can't sell this year.
Hey, Gene, I've been working with a small independent. He's got 27 agents in his organization. And when I first met him, he was completely resistant to EXP. In fact, he had told me that, he was going to have to get the buy-in from 27 agents. And I had already pulled production. And I said, no, you don't. I said, you only have 4 that are selling. I said, you only have 4 that are selling, 11 that are doing any production. I said, we can get 3 or 4 of these top agents to see this opportunity. The rest will just come, and the ones that'll fall off they're using your broker license as a parking lot anyway. So correct. It's been about 8 months. And again, he was super resistant to the idea. He was completely closed off. As I got to know him and listen to him over the last, several months and find out what his passions really are, he loves coaching. He's got kids that he loves to spend time with. He volunteers as a golf coach, and he really is just, to this morning, he almost just fell apart over the call. He said, I'd give you 15 to 20 minutes. That's all I asked him for. We were on a call for 2 hours, and he was almost in tears. And so I have a feeling that he's going to be making a decision here quickly. And I'll be reaching out to you if I need to get him on a call with you. I think I'll do that. But you know, things are definitely changing, and all the pain that he's been feeling just came out today. The stress, the lack of production, the training, the constant, the bills, the overhead. It looks like he's been hit really, really hard.
Let's give him a round of applause.
Super
baby.
excited about it.
That is phenomenal. Because let me tell you, when you said they were crying with you, just so you know, I've interviewed, I don't know how many people. I literally, if I can get, I don't want them to cry, but if I'm doing my job, I'm asking them what's important to them.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of women cry in my office, literally before they left. You know, where do you see yourself 3 to 5 years from now? I get very personal, because if you don't, that's how you get, when I say relationship, the word relationship, literally I can do that in 30 minutes with a brand new person I've never, ever met. I just ask them questions and shut up.
I think was really impactful is through this conversation this morning, I think we both kind of uncovered that we both are believers, and it wasn't even something that was spoken. It was definitely something that came out. And at the end of the conversation, he asked me, and I told him yes, and he says, I can tell. So I think that in itself was a big deal. I think we weren't talking just business. We were talking from a very spiritual place as human beings, and really just, I think the need of his needs and being able to fill those needs with this model, I think really hit home. So I'm really looking forward to him coming on board. I know he doesn't have a big organization now, but being able to get him and then show him how he can get himself to some freedom is what I'm looking forward to.
That's awesome. What a refreshing. Wow. Jeanette says that's amazing. I mean, I'm telling you guys, this is an uplifting call for me. This gets me fired up in Puerto Rico.
Hello, Gene. You hear me?
Hey.
Good afternoon to everybody. How are you?
Good.
Nothing. I have one question for you. I want to understand which kind of strategy you will use to open another countries. Means like, I'm coming from Italy and I'm working on in September to be couple of event over there. And I want to understand which kind of strategy you think about to improve to build a new country where XP really is not well known.
Well, I started a new country called Texas. Just so you know, everybody's laughing on here, but Texas is a country, and there's nothing more than doing the basics you want to do. Get in relationship with your people. Just so you know, I know we're open in Italy. Thank heaven we're open. You don't have to open it. First of all, I would probably not be the broker of a new country. I'd have somebody else be the broker. I'd be the recruiter. That's the first thing I would tell you.
Yeah.
I want you to be the recruiter.
And the second one, like tech. Yeah, sorry.
No, but go ahead. The bottom line is all the techniques we're teaching you here. Everything we're teaching you that we're doing in the United States, I do in that country. I would get the list of the top people and I'd call them. I'd go to the lenders and the other people that are working with it and say, who's the superstars? Who's the people I should be in business with? Right? It's funny. If somebody did that in Austin, Texas 10 years ago, because in, 2013 and 2012, I was the #1 recruiter for Keller Williams. If somebody would have come in there and started a new company in Austin, I think some people would have mentioned my name. But nobody did it like that, so nobody called me. Isn't that weird? I mean, I took an office from 320 to 640 in 4 years. I doubled the size of the office, quadrupled the size of profits in an office, but nobody called me. So in other words, they weren't doing the techniques we're telling you to do. In other words, start at the top. What I mean by starting at the top, start with the top influencers.
Okay. Okay.
By the way,
Perfect.
I've
Thank
never,
you.
I haven't sold real estate in 23 years now. So don't, who's the best producer wouldn't have put my name up, but who was the best influencer? My name might have showed up, I don't know. They still haven't called. Nobody's teaching it like us, Don. Nobody. Okay. I see Jackie's hands up.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a numbers question for you. So there is a video circulating around saying that 450 independent brokerages joined EXP last year. Do you know, since you're a numbers guy, is that a real number? And if not, what the real number is?
God bless me. I don't know. I
You
don't
don't
know,
know?
Jackie.
Okay.
I really don't know how many small brokers. I don't. I wish I knew. Maybe we can get
A lot, right? Thanks, Marguerite. She said a lot. That's good.
Yeah. That's a good
how I
number,
roll.
Marguerite. Yeah, I do too. I don't. Of course, me. I'd probably say up to 500.
Right.
If it was 410. If it was
I mean, I'm
410,
sure we have a lot of people that have their brokers licenses and things like that. I just didn't know if that was put out somewhere and I missed it. So thank you.
I haven't seen it, but I know it was 200 to 300 the year before. That sounds about right to me.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you.
You bet. Sorry, I don't know the number. The one thing I would know, I know my numbers in my market. I would know my numbers in my market. I mean, if I was doing this all over again, that's what I would do. And then the industry, it's amazing. How do I know that the average age is 49 years? Because I read that stuff. It's kind of weird, but I want to stay on top. I don't read Inman that much because Inman's kind of like the National Enquirer, because Inman's kind of just wanting to stir the pot. But I really do. I'm the weird dude that reads the stats. I'm the weird dude. I can show you. I know this is going to be weird, but I'm sure the only person that has done a 4-year analysis on Keller Williams compared to EXP. Who does this stupid stuff? Who does it? I have no time on my hand. But again, when somebody goes, how's KW doing? I go, I know. The last 4 years, listen to this, they're flat on agent count. Their volume's up 46% in 4 years. Their GCI's up 40%. Get this one though, watch this. Their expenses are up 10% and their owner's profit is down 24%. Down 24%. No, yeah, baby. Yeah, and profit shares down 21%, but guess what's up? Royalties are up in 4 years, 12%. That's the franchise model. That's the franchise model. We've all lived in it. We've breathed in it. So in 4 years, 2 of them, the best real estate markets we've ever had in our lives, their profit is down. The owner's profit is down and profit share is down. That's the most important thing to read on that stat, right? Heck, the volume's up 46%. You know why? Because they had to compete with a small little company called EXP. That's a problem because we are they can't go virtual. They're sucked into these franchise models. They got to open up offices and they don't have stock and rev share. Okay, it's over. It's over. Hey, let me ask you guys, 40 years next year, KW will be their 40th anniversary. Guess how many companies have copied the profit share model? 40 years. Can we all say 0? Okay, we've been open 13 years. I've got people copying us. I said, dude, this is the new model. That's how I talk to people. They go, well, what about this company? What about this company? I said, yeah, they're copying us. You know why? Because we got the new model. We are Amazon, and they better be Amazon. Everybody else is what? J.C. Penney's. That's what I tell people. I said, everybody other company is J.C. Penney's and Sears. And we're Amazon. We're the new gig. Right? You guys got to get fired up. You got to get fired up. I'm telling you, man, when I say that, God, Don Yoakum, I got too much time on my hand. This is something Don Yoakum and I would do years ago. I know he and I are like freaks of nature. But guys, I'm going to let you guys go on a Monday. I'm going to let you go because I felt like I've talked way too much. Oh my God, there's Brent. Go!
Wait, Brent's here.
Oh!
Baby, I've been listening to you on the airplane, landing. I'm in Washington, D.C. I'm buying an Apple Watch so I can see if I'm going to have a heart attack anytime soon. I was told it'll track my movement, what I eat, and everything. So I love you guys, Gene. Phenomenal. I'm inspired. I can get emotional right now. That was really good. I love you, man. You're one of my best friends in the world. Thank you for pouring into everyone. That was rock solid, everybody. I love you, man. And
love you too, big boy.
All right, everybody.
Grab an apple. Grab an apple. Let's say goodbye to Brent. I'll see you guys next. I'll see you on the next whatever.
All right.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, Gene. Thank you, guys.
Good night, Brent. Thank you guys. Love you guys.
Love you.
That was so good.